Bonjour. Bonjour, students. What happened? Are you all wondering? What happened to Vidya ma'am? Instead of teaching English, why is she speaking in French? I just tried. You are better than me in French. Many of you have taken French as your language, right? Bonjour. Okay, so I've used the word because I have something related to that. I have something related to French today. What is that we are going to see today or learn today or listen to? We are going to learn or listen to a wonderful story written by a very famous person. Okay, the setting of the story is France. Okay, so the story is a French story and a world famous story. You all must have heard the name by many of you must have heard the name. I think you have already seen in the very first picture of this video the name of today's story. The name of today's story is The Three Musketeers and Artagnan. What is the name? The name is The Three Musketeers and Artagnan. Okay, so the pronunciations vary from French and English, no problem, but still it is known as The Three Musketeers and Artagnan. So who is the author for this particular story that we are going to see or read today? Alexander Dumas. Alexander Dumas. So who happens to be from the period 1802 to 1807. Okay. So in between that, he has written this particular story. So what is that we are going to see today? 1870, my students, it is 1802 to 1870. The name of the story, as I have already told you, The Three Musketeers. So why is the Three Musketeers and Artagnan is our story. So from where is the story taken? Definitely, it's not the entire story that we are going to read today in this particular prose part which we have. We are going to see only a small extract of the original text. So by chance, because you all know that I read a lot of books, I have the personal copy, the original copy of the book that we are going to see. The extract is taken from this particular novel, a classic, a world famous novel, The Three Musketeers. Okay? The Three Musketeers by Alexander Dumas was a cult, a big popular at that time, a big trending novel at that time during 1860s. So he was very popular, and in this particular book, it's actually a historical adventure, we call it. What happened in the France during that time? How are the people during that time? What kind of conspiracies happened? And the friendship between the Three Musketeers. So even today, when you find three good friends, you just call them as Three Musketeers. Even that is mentioned even in your textbook as well. Okay, so because they are very good friends, and they are the line that they use in the novel as well as in the text is one for all for one. They are called like that. Okay, so the Three Musketeers are very good friends, and what happened when Artagnan first met them is what we are going to see in this particular one. So which is there also in this story. In the main original text in the main original text of this one. So what happened is what we are going to see in that in our book. So here we have the actual text of this is from where the prose part which we have is taken. These are the same, almost the same lines are there with few corrections here and there. Otherwise, it's the same thing that we are going to read now. Okay, so to understand this better, we should know about the conditions that are there in France at that time. So it is a kind of war time, and why is it called Musketeer? So when you are reading, when you have read the real Crusoe or the Robinson Crusoe, you have understood what is a musket. Do you all remember what is a musket? A musket is more or less like this. I have taken my son's toy to show you this. So this is a small musket, whereas the long musket, you have this particular part, a very this lengthy one, but this is a small musket, whereas the long one you also know. I'm going to put one picture in my video, you're going to see that as well. Okay, they used to use that kind of a musket. Okay, the person who uses musket and who has joined the army is called a musketeer. Okay, a musketeer is the one who happens to be using a musket in the army. Okay, so these three musketeers are the army people. Okay, those who were using the muskets. Fine, clear? Musket is more or less like our gun, but in those days they don't use bullets, they used to use gunpowder. Okay, so the gun with gunpowder is known as a musket. Clear, all of you? Okay, so now we are going to, the D is silent in Artagnan. That's why the D is not pronounced. Okay, so we are going to now look into the actual text. Okay, it's an interesting book. To say more about Alexandre Dumas, the author of the story, he has also written books like The Call of Monte Cristo. It's a very interesting movie about treasure hunt. When I was a child, that used to be one of my favorites. Even today, I recommend all of you to read that book because it involves a lot of things. And his novels, especially the Three Musketeers and even this, the Call of Monte Cristo, were translated into number of languages because of the popularity. Children worldwide love to read his books. His books are such that because they involve things that are really interesting to the children. What are those things that are generally all the boys generally like? The fights, the sword fights, the gun fights, and all of that. And the Three Musketeers is also was also taken as a movie several times. One is in black and white movie, one is a color movie too. Okay, so you can see these movies on YouTube or even in Amazon Prime. You will get them, the Three Musketeers. Most of you must have already seen the movie. Okay, so but we are not going to have the entire story of the Three Musketeers here in our prose part. We only have a small bit of it. How Artagnan met these three people and what happened, just a little of what happened next is we are going to see. But the actual story begins from there in the novel, which we don't have in our book. But if you can get the ebook, better read it in these holidays. Okay, if I get an ebook of that, I will try to forward it to all of you. Fine. Now let's look into page number 47. 47 page number. So these people, they used to have a very different attire. So you can see the long cap that the man is wearing, and then the rifle which he is holding, and also a sword, right? We're going to talk about it even in this class. And they used to wear special kind of jackets, which will come even in this particular story. We'll see about that. So in the warm-up, what is that they have given? Let's read that. Musketeer means a soldier armed with a musket and a member of household troops of the French king in the 17th and 18th centuries. Okay, now I think it's clear for all of you. A musketeer is the one who holds a musket and a member of household troops of French army especially during 17th and 18th centuries. Clear? Right. The motto of the Three Musketeers in Alexander Dumas' novel is all for one, one for all. So they are like that. All three of them, they used to be like that. Meaning they will always stand by each other and support each other. Thus, it has come into a popular use, and three good friends are often called the Three Musketeers. This is what I was mentioning as well. So whenever you find three good friends here and there, you call them, hey, they are Musketeers, right? So he also mentions in the book like how we can apply this to our life. He has asked three things here. What qualities do you look for in a friend? I repeat the question. What qualities do you look for in a friend? Second, do you have a very close group of friends who believe in the same qualities? Third, how important is faithfulness in friendship? Okay, so because we are talking about the most popular three good friends in this particular prose part, so they are also trying to find, we should also try to see, do we have such friends in real life? Most of you, because you are in grade 8, some of you must be already having such good friends in school. But from now on, when you go to 9th and 10th, and once you pass out from 10th, college and then graduation, you will get more friends, right? But you will have three people, one or two people forever, like a friend whom you can trust and rely, and also with whom you can share everything, right? Such kind of friends are rare to get. We should also become such kind of friend to somebody. So what is that one good quality of a friend is? He should be loyal, he should be faithful and trustworthy, right? So, and you cannot be selfish in friendship. This is what we expect from a good friend. And if you want, if I should be a good friend to somebody, then what is that one quality of that I should have? That I should be reliable. Then other things are like I can't be selfish and I should be helpful all the time. So if a friend needs me in good times or hard times, I should be there for him. Fine. With this introduction, let's start reading the actual lesson today. Fine. Are you all ready with your books? Fine. If you don't have books, listen to me very, very carefully, each word that I utter. Fine. The introduction is given here. The Three Musketeers, published in 1844, is a novel by the French novelist Alexander Dumas. In the novel, Athos, Porthos, and Aramis are the king's three best musketeers. Artagnan, a French villager, travels to Paris with the ambition of becoming a musketeer in the army of King Louis XIII. Artagnan carries a letter of introduction to his father's friend, Monsieur de Trable, the captain of King's Musketeers. But on the way to Paris, Artagnan is attacked and the letter of information is taken away from him. While in Paris, Artagnan sees the first person who had robbed him and chases him. On his way, he rudely bumps into an already injured Athos. He then gets into argument with both Porthos and Aramis. The Three Musketeers challenge him to individual duels. Read to find out how Artagnan wins over the Three Musketeers. So, what is the story that we are going to read now? So, there is this story was first published in the year 1844, and it's by a French novelist by name Alexander Dumas. Okay, so Artagnan is a French villager who has come to Paris to meet a person by name Monsieur de Travel. Monsieur, you all know, means Mr. in French. Okay, he came to Paris to meet this man because Artagnan wants to join the French army, and his father got one recommendation kind of a letter from this man. So he has to show that letter to Mr. Monsieur D. Travel. Then only he will allow him to the army. But while he was coming to Paris, somebody attacked him on the way, in the journey, and he lost that paper. So he was chasing those people, and accidentally it so happened that he bumped into already injured Athos. Okay, another man that we are going to see now. Okay, one among the three musketeers. Clear so far? So what are the characters now? We should know, right? So the characters in the story are, first, Athos, Porthos, Aramis, Artagnan, Monsieur de Travel, then Jussiac, and other guards. These are the only people that are referred in this particular extract. Okay, and out of these, only 4 are important for us: Athos, Porthos, Aramis, and then Artagnan. Okay, these are the 3 musketeers, and one is Artagnan that we are going to see. Fine. So the title, coming back to the title, it is aptly chosen because this entire story is all about those 3 people. Fine. Okay. Now let's get into the story. The characters: Athos, Porthos, Aramis, and then Artagnan, Jussiac, and other guards. Okay. Athos, who is suffering from a wound, is sitting in the convent and waiting for Artagnan with his hat in hand, the feather touching the ground. Artagnan enters and walks towards Athos. So what happened? There is one man. Who is that man? Athos. Athos was sitting in a convent. Convent means nothing but a building. So we also call these, in olden days we used to have convent schools, they used to call, right? A church is attached to the school. Such places are called convents. Here convent is actually a building. So he was sitting in a building and this man is already injured. Okay. So what happened when he was sitting there? Accidentally Artagnan came inside and he bumped into that place. Okay, bumped into means he suddenly came and gave a jolt, gave a small jerk to this man. Then Monsieur, now Athos is speaking. Monsieur, I have engaged 2 of my friends as seconds, but these 2 friends have not yet come, at which I am astonished, as it is not at all like them. Yeah, one more thing while describing I forgot is that, so when he came and bumped into this man, Athos got angry and he got one reason to fight. What is that word that he has used here? He gets into argument with both Porthos and Aramis. I'm reading the previous lines. The 3 musketeers challenge him to an individual duels. So the 3 people have challenged Artagnan to duel. What is a duel? The book has given. In the book it is given formal fights with weapons between 2 people to settle a disagreement, especially over a matter of honor. Okay, in many movies, I will show you. In many movies you must have seen right? Fights, sword fights, weapon fights, especially during this particular time, 1844, they used to fight with big swords, and then and for no reason people used to fight. and because it's kind of fun for them. Nowadays you find different kinds, WWF or WWE, you people call it wrestling, right? So like that, this is also a kind of fight for them. So these three people thought they'll fight with Artagnan, okay, because they were not agreeing why he came all of a sudden and how can he get into, and this man is already what do you call, already is hurt, is injured, right? So they thought they will have a fight, okay. Now these people are going to fight. Who all are going to fight? Athos, Porthos, and who is the third person? Aramis, and then Artagnan. All four of them are going to fight. But for a fight, you need a partner. Okay, seconds. In this, it is mentioned as seconds. Seconds, the textbook meaning is already given. People trusted by those fighting duels, they negotiate to set the rules and try to avoid bloodshed or death. So, just like boxing or some other sport, you have to bring someone else to fight along with you, but they also make some settlement with this person before coming to the fight, that there will not be any bloodshed. They will fight according to the rules, that they will not cause much pain, right? So now these three people are going to fight. Fine. So we'll stop here. We'll see what is there in the actual story in the second module of our lesson. Okay. So what next? Let me quickly give a recap to all of you. So far we have discussed about the swords, the musket, and the Three Musketeers, right? The novel and the Three Musketeers and Artagnan, which we have as our prose part this time. Okay, all of these we have discussed. The name of the story is The Three Musketeers and Artagnan, written by Alexander Dumas. Okay. And then the main characters are Athos, Porthos, Aramis, Artagnan, Monsieur de Treville, and then Usiac and other guards. So we are going to start the story, actual story, in the second module, because this much introduction is much needed to understand the story. Fine. So before I leave, I'll give you a small homework. So what's your homework is, collect 5 such stories where sword fights are involved. Okay, you know your Bahubali, right? So Bahubali also had sword fights and all of that. So similarly, can be Western or Indian. So collect 5 story names which has these sword fights. Fine, you keep those story names with you ready. I'll be asking you. You can talk to your father or mother about this, or even grandpa. Fine. So is it going to, is it interesting for all of you? I'm sure it is really interesting for all of you. We'll see that next in the second module. Okay. Thank you.